Yeah, I believe in you. I don't believe in lucky sevens. I'm not sure about Loch Ness, but I know I believe in angels. I believe in happiness.
Good evening, everybody. It's wonderful to see everybody connected, and you're so very wonderful to me. You always comment and say hello to our guests. We have a wonderful musician connected tonight. I think you're going to have a lot of questions, and he's currently on tour, so we're going to find out about that. He has a single coming out, so we're going to find out about that. This is just absolutely amazing, and I love what I do, and I love to see all of you. So make sure that you do comment, like us on YouTube, the Caffeinated Cooper Show channel, and yeah, so let's get into the sponsor this evening, and it is None. I love my little None tablets because they have None energy, None hydration, and the spotlight for this season is None immunity. So I was feeling a bit under the weather last week, which is why we postponed the show, and I do truly apologize for that. But my None immunity really helped out. It helps to hydrate you, but as I'm going to look on the back of the box, not making it up, not writing any lies, it has vitamin B12, D, C, sodium and potassium, and prebiotics. It also includes, wow, I didn't even know this, black elderberry, selenium, and zinc, electrolytes, vitamins. You get it all in one pack, and it's so easy to follow. Let's open it up. See, look at this. Nothing confusing. You just have mandarin orange, which is your support, and superberry as triple support, and you follow it. It's so tasty and it's yummy, and I think you're absolutely going to love it. So go over to nonelife.com. Let's go ahead and get that scroller going at the bottom so that you can make a note of it, but don't go anywhere because we want you to stay very close by. So nonelife.com, that's NUUNLIFE.com for all of you that are listening and not watching us. They have 15% off. They had a great January special. They're coming into the Valentine's Day season. So, it's always so great when companies give you free shipping. They give you percentage off. None is truly a company that does that when you order off their website. However, they've expanded over the years. So they are available like everything else on Amazon, but Walmart, Publix, if you have Publix grocery stores, we do in the southeast of USA, Kroger, Walgreens, which is a drugstore, and it's always best to just go over to None Life and buy it right there because you get all the discounts. So check it out. It's got many, many different, not just energized tablets, but many different items on their website for hydration and supplementation of all your great electrolytes and vitamins that you need every single day. All right, everybody. So let's move on. I would love to introduce the man of the hour. I am super excited to bring him on. His name is Rob Reischak, and he is preparing to release a new single, which we were just talking about in the green room, and that single is called Green Fields. It's coming out expected around May, June. He's currently touring with Spanish music artist Natalia Jimenez. He's born in Brazil and has been in Los Angeles music scene for over 10 years, having worked with veteran rock guitar artists Steve Vai and Eric Lee, Christian Castro, Vaud and the Villains, and many others. He is a guy that you want to ask all your questions to about music life in Los Angeles. What is it like coming in there and just killing it, just like he has? So let's welcome to the show, Rob Reischak. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you, Elizabeth?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm so happy that you were able to reschedule with me and have time to come on to the show to tell us what you're doing out there in Los Angeles. It's not raining anymore, right?
Not raining anymore. Thank God. But yeah, absolutely. It was my pleasure to be here tonight, and I appreciate being on the show.
Oh, man, you have some really brilliant work within your repertoire. When did you start playing, all right, I'm going to assume guitar, but possibly you started with something else?
Well, actually, the funny thing is like I started with the guitar, but I started off with the acoustic guitar and not
Okay.
electric guitar, right? Being from Brazil, it's kind of like very common to have like laying around like a nylon string acoustic guitar, you
Mhm.
know, in every household because of the type of the type of music that is traditional in Brazil. We have a lot of that type of you know, kind of like a nylon string acoustic guitar, like bossa nova and samba and that type of style of music.
I love it.
And I have uncle of mine that used to have a guitar, an acoustic guitar, just laying around. And funny enough, I was I think it was in middle school, and my sister actually started taking lessons at the school, right? We started to have this music program at school, and she started like enjoying so much, and she was like, "Hey, you should join the lessons, the music program." And that was actually she was like the reason that I started, So funny enough, like 6 months later, she dropped it, you know,
No
but
way.
I stayed, and the cool thing was like that I did actually played acoustic guitar only for 1 year. I didn't even know what a guitar pick was. And by the end of the year, Christmas, then I got my first electric guitar. I think I was like 13 or something like that.
Wow.
So everything started.
So I don't usually bring up someone's family, but I am so intrigued to ask this question. Was your family musically inclined?
Oh, not really. We didn't have like a musician per se, in our family or even like close family or like cousins or anything, It's just more me. I guess I had like a deep connection to music since early on,
Mm,
you know. Um, but my family always enjoyed listen to music and radio back then, and
yeah.
you know, and it was like a mix of Brazilian music and top 40, just playing on the radio and being a kid from the late 80s, mid 90s, and listening to Michael Jackson, for example, and stuff like that. So it was I was exposed to all that, and but things actually really changed when I picked up the electric guitar for the first time. And I was like, oh man, okay, this is it,
Yeah.
and kind of the rest is history, back then, I guess my parents they realized I was like so into it,
Mhm.
that I remember we used to live in this house, and we did have like a back house, and my dad actually took one of the rooms and then like put like a carpet on the walls and stuff like that. So he was like, "Hey, you can just stay in there and practice your guitar, and it can be loud. Don't worry." And that
Oh,
was like it was great. It was great for like growing up and having because you have time. When you're like in your teens and
yeah.
so I was like, discovering all types of music styles and at the same time learning the instrument, right? And of course, later on, like trying to put school bands together and stuff like that. That we all do, you know. Um,
So let me ask
but
you this.
yeah.
So now you're teenage in Brazil. What music are you listening to? Are you listening to United States Top 40? Are you listening to more of the British rock bands? Like, where's your, at that point in time, like, what was your,
Right.
let's just say, CD?
That's really funny actually because you know, I for one, I grew up listening to American music,
Okay.
you know, and it was funny because even though with all that background, you would think that, you know, oh, he's from Brazil and he listened to Brazilian music. He plays traditional Brazilian music and all that. And I didn't. You know, I just don't, you know, didn't go into that actually, and it was more like, you know, listening to it, all types of music actually, from pop like Michael Jackson to maybe George Benson
Yeah.
to, like something even more like because we all go through those, like more kind of heavy
Yeah.
metal phase music and stuff like that. So I listen to all that too, you know.
So I
And
got
then of course,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry. So I've got to ask you because now we have something so in common, right? I love music 100%. It is within me, especially when I was a kid. And I would say now I know we're probably about the same age. And
Oh,
that 80s to 90s was such an amazing time
amazing, amazing.
because you had the hair bands and the metal, and then you move into grunge, and it just
Exactly.
changed, but it didn't um it wasn't like fashion was, if you go back into like the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, something was in and everything else
Right.
was out. It was like an all-inclusive time by the time you got to the mid 90s. So what was your favorite like bit or piece that you really just hung to, that you were like, yeah, that's it? Was it the more grungy? Was it more like Pantera, kind of like heavy metal?
By the way, I loved Pantera. Back then, it was like it was my jam actually. Funny, it's like because by the time I was really into playing the guitar, it was kind of like grunge was taking over, you know. And I guess I guess for a little bit I was into bands like Soundgarden, you
Mhm.
know, Alice in Chains, you know, those cats that that we saw coming up back then, and but at the same time I wasn't like really into the just because if it's the grunge scene and that's what I'm gonna listen to. You know, my ears were like, open
Yeah.
completely, because it was more like it was more like how good the song is, in terms of and not it wasn't just for I like music and listen to music because it fits my style. It wasn't because of that, So and I guess later on I started to being a guitar player, you start finding out about like guitar heroes, and guys like well, you name it, like Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, and Yngwie Malmsteen, and all those guys, that took the guitar, even like you go back to like Jeff Beck, which is he's my favorite guitar player. It had just
Mm.
passed away, right? And it was like, oh wow, I never thought you could do that with the guitar,
Mm,
kind of like that spark, and it was like I want to learn how to do that, and that took me to a completely different, you know, direction in terms of really digging into like uh, theory, studying the guitar, studying music in general, not only understanding how to play the guitar, but music in general, and I did that. I still do that, still, always like trying to expand my knowledge about music, and it's a really broad kind of thing,
mhm.
not only just, oh, I play the guitar, not
Right.
just that.
So take me to the moment when you went from Brazil and then did you go straight to Los Angeles? I know that you have spent, many amazing years there. You've worked with so many, like you were saying, guitar heroes, like
Right.
the best of the best. So was it just a straight transition from Brazil to the United States, or did you go somewhere else first?
Well, I stayed for a long time actually in Brazil, and to the point that you know, I wasn't actually doing music professionally in Brazil. I used to play all the time, but I had a job, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, um, and then at some point, I had that like bugging me all the time, like
Mm,
I always wanted to, study music, go to Los Angeles and study music, right? And at some point, I was like, if I don't do this now, I'm never gonna do it,
yeah.
So I actually, yeah, kind of like 10 years ago, I quit everything, everything. Like I quit my job. I actually sold my apartment,
Wow.
car, everything, and just in order to, um, fund my you know, trip to LA.
Yeah.
And back then, my plan was to study here for a year and a half, right? And then at the end of that, just to see what can happen, right? And I wasn't like 100% sure if I'll stay in LA after that, but um, at the end of the studies and the course that I end up taking at Musicians Institute in Hollywood, uh, I was like, there's no way I'm going back to Brazil, you know, because of the whole, imagine for a kid in Brazil that we do have all the information there. It's not that we don't have there, well, it's happening here,
Mhm,
and in having all that information and being exposed to American music and then and being here, where the all that music that I grew up listening to was created,
mhm.
so for me it was kind of like, there's no way back,
Mm.
so and here I am like 10 years later,
Yeah,
just
and
still in LA, yeah.
you're noted as being one of the most creative's not the word. And I'm going through your press release trying to find the right word because I was reading about it earlier. But imaginative soloists. Um, so, okay, so we have that, right? And you've worked with so many amazing people. Did you have connections before you just said, no, I'm going to LA, or no connections at all?
No connections at all. It was just like it was just like I'm doing this, and it was like it was more almost like this is the time I'm going there, and I'm going to succeed, because it was almost like a movie in my head. It's just like I can't like just
Mm,
I was actually I was afraid to not try, so that it was driving me kind of like so hard because
mm,
I didn't want to live my life thinking that I didn't try to do the thing that I wanted to do the most, right?
yeah.
And it was funny because, I barely um, was able to like speak English and stuff like that when I came here.
Hmm.
So it was like no connections and it's if you think about it, it's just like it's almost suicide. But
Yeah,
you know,
that's some serious fish out of water. I mean, my goodness.
absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
who was the first great connection person that you met where you're like, great, I'm moving in that direction?
Right. So the great thing about the decision of coming here was one of the best ways was to study,
Mhm.
right? So I was like, I came here, I had everything set up for me to start studying at Musicians Institute in Hollywood. So I had that connection, with the school, And to be honest with you, they helped me a lot, in terms of, finding a place to stay, giving me directions for, you know, places to go, places to, all the little details that you need when you move to a different city, a different or a different country, right? And they were like super helpful. And but it's inevitable, it's like you're surrounded by a lot of people doing the same thing as you.
Yeah.
So there's a great community in terms of like people trying to do the same thing, and then there is like that feeling of like people trying to help you, so that was very actually very welcoming, and then later on I you know I discovered that we have so many different communities here in LA, and especially like Brazilian community, So later on, I started to like meet the Brazilian community here who work in the music industry as well, and then it's just like meeting people, connecting and it's just like that. You got to do that, right? You got to go out there and connect with people. Um, but one thing that was great was at the end of the guitar course that I took. Um, I actually they give like this award for best players and stuff,
Oh,
and
wow.
I remember getting that in that year in 2015. I was like, let's say I think they called it the best, outstanding player of that year. So that was kind of like good a good a good moment of like I know I'm doing the right thing, so just keep going.
Oh, that's amazing. And now, I mean, now look at you. We're here to talk about your current tour. You've gone so many different places, but I do want to talk about how did you meet up with or connect with Natalia Jimenez? And
Right. Yeah.
you're touring with Natalia. I mean, you know, tell me about it. Like, oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah, it's incredible because sometimes you think of a name like a big name in the music industry,
Mhm.
And but then the best thing is when you meet some of those people, and then they're like uh they're just like you. It's there's that the humanity part of it, that it's like okay, that's that's Natalia, and it feels like it's not a big deal, but it's just like it's a Grammy Award winner, that's all, so she's incredible. But I actually I play I started playing some local gigs here in LA with different a couple of different artists, and uh, I end up meeting this which is now a good friend of mine, drummer Javo Barrera, and he's been a music director for a lot of Latin acts here in America,
Mhm.
and we started playing together for different artists here, and we actually clicked, and he was like, "Hey man, I really wanna, if we have the opportunity, I want you to play with Natalia. We're trying to put a new band for her, uh, try to put a new band for her together, and I think you'll be a great fit." And but then COVID happened,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
So we were like, yeah, let's just go through this, right? And then after when we saw like, oh, things are coming back, and he was like, hey, so we have a show next month. And I was like, wait a minute. What do you mean? No, we're playing with Natalia. Remember that I told you, like, well, but that was 2 years ago, So it was just like that. It was like, okay, here's and the day after he told me that, he sent me the material. Here's her material, like I guess was like 28 songs, and then we have a show, like in a week or something, and that's how it happens, sometimes. And you got to be prepared, because those opportunities you don't want to miss, you
Right.
know.
Right. No, absolutely.
And
I do have the flyer up here and I want everybody to see this. So you have many show dates that have already passed. Um, and
right,
I want to make a point that you're international. You guys are going everywhere. What did you
right.
think about that first show? So was your first show the San Juan, Puerto Rico one last year in August?
Last year, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, actually, I don't remember. I don't think I made that one, but I made the one in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think that was my first show with her. Yeah.
That's
Um,
really
which
amazing.
is very interesting, because we do have like an amazing crew.
Mhm.
And she's got like a couple different bands actually in different parts of United States. So it's easier for her to travel with the band,
Mhm.
So sometimes we might have a different band in the East Coast, different than the band who plays in the West Coast, right? Just
Mhm.
because of traveling and that kind of stuff. But the funny thing is, like, and that happens a lot actually in the industry, is like, so I was just telling you about the like 20 something, almost 30 songs, right? And the material and stuff. And there's no rehearsal, so you get the songs, you get the music, and then you do your homework, and you show up, and then at the gig, during sound check, we go over every intro, every song, just to see if everybody's on top of their game, and
Wow.
you know it's on.
Wow.
So yeah, it's challenging, but at the same time, it's such a great feeling, because all those years, like trying to be a better musician,
Mhm.
studying and all that, they pay off,
My goodness,
So
that's intense.
and that's it's really intense. It's like it's a lot of pressure because all you want to do is make the artist to look great,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
That's our job, and that's what we try to do every night, and but of course we have so much fun on stage. It's such a great show with she puts like a great show, and you know and then I remember doing that show in, I think it was in Denver or somewhere near Denver, and it was one of the first sold out shows after COVID. So it was like it was pretty remarkable because like being like 2 years without playing, like without seeing like public and crowd and stuff like that. And then you go out there and then you sold out, a venue. That's incredible,
That
It's a
is
great feeling.
What is it like being on the road? I mean, with all the different places that you're going to, and I'm going to bring it back up to the stream so everybody can see where you are headed in 2023 this year. So,
Yeah,
what is it
yeah,
like? I mean, if you look at this here, you're in Mexico and then Puerto Rico and then back at Salt Lake City and Denver and so on and so forth. How do
right.
you find your balance and your peace with moving around like that?
Yeah, especially because different time zones and you're going in and out of flights and stuff, different hotels, and um, first of all, I think you got to be up to it and you got to enjoy that type of you know um life and environment, because it can be tiring very easy,
Mhm.
you know but one thing that makes everything easier is to have like a really a great group of people, you know because if you there's no way if you don't get along with somebody,
Oh,
things they're not gonna last, so that's the most important part. And then I have to say kudos to Havel, my buddy, who's the music director, and he just have that sense, to of picking like the right people, to work with. So it's there's just like I said, like the crew's amazing, and at the end of the day, we're just having fun, we're just having fun. That's what you want to do because you're out there, you sleep every night in a different bed,
yeah.
and
Ugh.
the whole flight and van hotel flight. So it can be tiring, right? But the good thing about the touring with Natalia is that we do a lot of I would say like kind of similar to what Nashville does, that you go out to tour on the weekends. So that's what we usually do. We go out, we fly out on Thursdays and come back on Mondays, So it's not bad at all, because we get to, come back unless if it's the lag, if it's a longer, lag for the tour, but then it's fine as well. But because I do teach, since the same school that I went to, study at, they actually called me back 1 year later when I graduated to teach, you
Oh,
know.
that's
So
awesome.
I teach guitar. I'm a guitar instructor at Musicians Institute as well in Hollywood. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds for me because I love teaching, and it's nice to be, you know, on tour and then coming back and being able to teach Tuesday, Wednesday, you know, the weekdays, and then go out on tour again on Thursdays. So, but you know, you gotta be you gotta be strong, you
Mhm.
know, you gotta be
Right.
uh, and you gotta love the whole touring thing. Otherwise, you know, it can be
You
really
either
tiring.
love it or you hate it, huh? So
Exactly.
that's really great. And now that I understand that, you're touring on the weekend, um, I I think, it's just everybody, thinks, oh my gosh, you're touring, so you got to travel, and then you've got a couple of days there. No, it's like it's quick, quick, quick. And you also
Yeah.
created, um, so you have a solo album coming out at the end of the
Yes.
year. You have a single that we can look for around May and June called Green Field. Would you mind telling me a little bit, like, where did you find yourself creating this song?
Yeah, that's very interesting, and I'm really excited about this because it's something that I wanted to do for so long, but at the same time, it's hard to find a time, you know,
Yeah.
to like because you know between like teaching, touring, and then doing even like studio work in the city, and it takes a lot of your time, you know. But I have like throughout the years, and thank God for, you know, iPhones and stuff because I have so many recordings on my iPhone of like ideas and you know, just fragments of songs and stuff like that. And I was like, it was actually during the pandemic. I was like, I gotta get this going. You know, I have to, you know, take take the ideas that I like the most and then just finish them up. And that's what I'm kind of doing, you know. Every time I have a spare time, I'm going back to the recordings. I take the ideas. I go to my studio. I have a studio in downtown LA, and you know, try to, you know, go from there. You know, take the ideas and develop more. And Greenfields is something that happened just like that, you know. And I kind of tend to go back to like the roots of like starting with the acoustic guitar,
Mhm.
and I write a lot on the acoustic guitar, you know. And some of the songs stay like as that kind of arrangement of like more acoustic,
Okay.
and some of them go to like a full electric and full band and all that good stuff. And it really depends. So Greenfield is something that I wrote on the acoustic guitar, and it's got like this Americana kind of vibe to it, with a little twist because I like, you know, I like to things to be interesting to the ear, you know, but to a point that I can like play that to my mom and she will enjoy it, you know. I don't want to like super, you know, complicated music, you know. But at the same time, I like some of the intellect that to be, you know, here and there on my music. And you know, there's a catchy melody to it. The groove is fine, and I think people will like it.
Well, I can't wait to hear it. And what would be the best way to follow you, to follow, your solo album? What can you tell everybody to make sure that they look out for or follow?
Absolutely. Best way right now would be to follow me on Instagram.
Okay.
I do have a web page that it's getting I'm just, just doing some tweaks there, and it should be up like really soon again. Uh, and and yeah, and as soon as we set a date for the release, we're gonna be, putting out on every platforms and stuff. So yeah. But Instagram right now will be the best way. I do have a Facebook page as well, so you can find me on Facebook as well.
Okay.
And and but yeah, and another thing that I'm trying to that I'm going to release actually really soon is a Patreon page, because I enjoy so much teaching guitar that I decided to like create a page specific for that on Patreon,
Okay.
and it should be up on around February,
Uh-huh.
and people can find me there too, because I do give like some sneak peek of songs, new material over there, and and I'm planning to do even like giveaways,
Fun.
so it's gonna be fun up there as well. So, but for sure, Instagram and Facebook will be the best right now.
Oh, that's fantastic. So where are you headed to next? Let's see, with the
Oh,
tour.
next, I think we're doing Salt Lake City. I
Okay,
think that's the next thing we're doing, Salt Lake City and Denver,
that's
and
awesome. Go
which
over.
is happening February. Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody can go over to, I saw tickets on StubHub. I saw tickets on Ticketmaster. So all the major outlets that you would use online to purchase tickets, that's where you can get it for the tour that you're in, which is Natalia Jimenez, the 2023 tour. And that's really exciting. And then your solo is, hold on. There we go. The picture didn't want to go away. She wanted to stay up there and show her dates. Uh, and then all your information, we're going to follow you on Instagram to find out more about when the single is coming out. And I can't wait to hear Green Fields. You also have another single after that coming out, right?
I do have another single that I'm just finishing up with arrangements and trying to find, actually I do found like really incredible musicians to play in that track, and that one is called Cactus,
Mm-hmm.
and it's another it's a very kind of like swampy kind of like sound, more towards to I would say like a swampy country-ish kind of thing with really cool guitars, really cool groove, and I'm excited for that too. One of those songs that you know because songs sometimes can come up in different ways, right? For me,
Mm-hmm.
and in this one, I pretty much wrote that in one night. So, and it happens sometimes. Sometimes other songs I know sometimes I have to take a break from them,
Mm-hmm.
and then come back with the like different mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that helps. But Cactus is one of those songs that I pretty much wrote the whole thing in one night. So I'm excited for that too.
I think Patch.com had a great article on your new single coming up called Cactus. And I want to get to the part to where they just, yeah. So it says rock ballad with definite country and Western feel. Man,
Exactly.
that's for me, it's like baking. You're putting different ingredients together that aren't usually together. And I'm
Exactly.
excited for that. I'm really, this is a cool article. If anybody wants to go over to patch.com. That's patch.com. And that's where they did a piece on you about Cactus coming out. So congratulations with everything. This is like super exciting. And I definitely would
Thanks
love
so
to know when everything is releasing, because if you're not able to come back onto the show, I'm going to talk about it, because we do have a news segment, so we can put it in there, or you're welcome to come back on and tell me about how the tour is going. We can listen to your single and everything, and that would be absolutely fantastic. We love doing that here. But this has been really fun.
Oh, that would be amazing, actually. I would love to come back and talk about the single. Hopefully, by then, we'll have in all platforms, and it's gonna be quite a day, because it's gonna be my very first single, ever, uh, as
Awesome.
a solo artist. So yeah, I'm excited for that too.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my goodness. What an amazing story. That's one of the things that I've been American my entire life. And, we just cannot empathize with what that must be like to, just up and move to another country. Now, many Americans have, but so many different parts of the world do accommodate themselves to the English language. And
Yeah.
it has to be such a truly a fish out of water experience. And I'm so glad that you found a home within your music institute in Hollywood, and they've done, I mean, you're just in a fantastic place, and I can't wait to see what you do next. You're really super talented. I have a viewer here, Justin Ware. Thank you for watching. He said, I just followed you on Instagram. You're very talented. And I would second that. You really, truly are. So thank you so much for your time this evening and telling us all about
Thank you.
you as a person and getting to know you a little bit. I think that's a really special thing about the show, because, we hear about you guys and we read articles and we come to see you in the show, but so very few do we have moments to really see who you are. And you're an awesome person.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. And it's great to be up here, and I want to say hello to all the viewers and people that are on here, and I appreciate very much. And yeah, I'm really excited to, be releasing this the songs, and of course, like I just can't wait to be on the road with Natalia again. It's always so much fun. And yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, we just don't want to regret for things that we wanted to do and we don't do them. It's just like you got to go out there, you got to try out. You got to try your best. And that's what I did. And it's not gonna be pretty every time, so and that's why connections are important. And of course, you got to surround yourself with people that you can trust, and friends, and most importantly, family. And they did support me, like it was incredibly. So, but I'm really excited, and just like I said, like I would love to come back here when the single is out, so we can talk more for sure.
I would love that. Are your family members still in Brazil?
Yeah, they're all in Brazil. My actually, I have a brother and a sister as well. So mom and dad and my brother are in Brazil, and my sister actually lives in Barcelona, in Spain.
Oh, really?
And so, yeah, I'm just planning to visit her this year as well. So it should be fun.
Does mom and dad, so in Brazil, do you speak Portuguese?
Yes, we do speak Portuguese.
Would you
Yeah.
like to say hello or anything like that to mom and dad who might be watching?
Oh, sure. Yeah, that'll be great and funny, actually. Pai, mãe, tudo bem? Eu queria mandar um abraço para vocês, um beijo. Eu amo vocês e a gente se vê em breve.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Rob. It was really nice getting to know you.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me on the show, and I can't wait to come back.
Wonderful. All right. You have a great night.
You too. Thank you, Elizabeth.
You're welcome. Bye bye. Oh, what a great show. What a great show. I love my guests. I am so blessed to have this platform and really fantastic people to come onto the show. As always, we are blessed. You are blessed. Mwah. I love you, and I will see you next time. Take care, everybody. That was fantastic. We are no longer broadcasting.